Good morning, everyone. My name is Ashwin Reddy, and I came from BTech from Deep Learning in Mumbai and Masters from NIT Trichy. Today, I am going to deal with a topic about strength of materials. In strength of materials, I am going to teach you about stresses and types of stresses and determinate structures and indeterminate structures. The name strength of materials or mechanics or mechanics of deformable bodies, these all come under name strength of materials only. These are different names. Basically, in strength of materials, it's nothing but in this subject we will deal about mechanics of deformable bodies. For example, you can take any structure. This structure is subjected to wind loadings, aggregate loadings, line loads, dead loads. You can see any structure, any building structure. You can see it is subjected to line loads, dead loads, and it is subjected to wind loads, and it is also subjected to earthquake loading. I told you structure is nothing but made up of small deformable elements. That means like structure composed of beams, columns, slabs, and footings and all. Actually the load mechanism will be like from slab to the load will be transferred to beams, from beams to columns, from columns to footings, from footings to subsoil. This is the load transfer mechanism. So we can see all the deformable bodies. In strength of materials we will see the deformable bodies, how they deform while they upload by the load. Loads are nothing but these line loads, dead loads, and wind loads and earthquake loads. This is on the structure. But you can see any bridge structure. Bridge structure consists of lot of I sections or anything. They are like across the water they are constructed. So additionally water load also will be there, water pressure also will be there. So we need to design the structure to withstand that the other impact loading or influence loading or moving loading and all. So in strength of materials we will see all these topics. Basically stress. These are nothing but like basics in strength of materials. Stress is nothing but resisting force per unit area. Suppose you take any bar of length L subjected to axial loading P. Axial loading is nothing but along the axis, longitudinal axis of the member, load is applied with the load P. I am cutting a section at section HL and I am drawing this free body diagram P. To resist this P, we need one horizontal force here. This is nothing but internal force developed, resisting force. This stress is nothing but resisting force per unit area. That is nothing but stress definition. Basically, you can see there are three equilibrium equations we study in overall strength of materials topic. They are nothing but sigma Fx equal to 0, sigma Fy equal to 0, sigma Mz equal to 0. These are the three axes. The board is nothing but in xy plane, and z axis is nothing but facing u. That is the three axis, three dimension. X axis is this plane, and y axis is this plane, and z axis will be facing u. So all the harmonic for summation of all the these are nothing but equilibrium equations. These equilibrium equations are used to determine any unknowns in a structure. So the summation of all the forces in the x direction will be 0, summation of all forces in the y direction is 0, and summation of all moments about this z direction will be 0. That means I will tell you what is meant by mz and fy and fx, how to take it. These are the nothing but equilibrium equations. This is nothing but stress. And types of stresses. We studied about stress is nothing but resisting force per unit area, and types of stress include, there will be two types of stresses. One is direct stresses, indirect stresses. Indirect stresses, again it will be classified into two other topics. One is normal and tangent stresses. And again in the indirect stresses there will be two types of stresses. One is bending stresses and one is torsional stresses. So these are nothing but stress we have studied, that nothing but resisting force. That means internal resisting force, but unit area is nothing but stress. In the types of stresses we can see there are direct stresses, indirect stresses. In direct stresses again we have normal stress and tangential stress. I will explain what are the normal stress and what is tangential stress and what is bending stress and all. See, normal stresses. Again, normal stress is nothing but now only we have studied that bar is subjected to axial load P. This normal stress nothing but normal load by area. Normal load nothing but you can see here. This is the cross section area, like BD. This is the cross section area. Cross section means if you see here, if you cut the section here and you see from Z dimension, you can see that is the cross section area. In the cross section area, the load is P is acting perpendicular to the cross section. So the normal stress is nothing but this perpendicular to the load, perpendicular to the cross section by cross section area. This is nothing but normal stress. It may be axial, this may be tensile stresses or compressive stresses. Two ways. The load is acting, it is pulling the member. That is nothing but axial stress or tensile stress. The load is like pushing the member inside. That is nothing but compressive stress. You can see here the load is acting perpendicular to this cross section. Like perpendicular to the cross section, the load is acting. So that is nothing but normal stress. In tangential stress, the load will be acting parallel to the cross section. Suppose I can see this. Here you can see the load will be parallel to the, suppose take this as member, the load will be parallel to the cross section. So shear stress or tangential stress will be like parallel to the cross section force by parallel that area. The load is acting at. That is nothing but shear stress. The normal stress or tensile stress or compressive stress will be perpendicular to the cross section, but the shear stress or tangential stress will be parallel to the cross section. The force is acting. The force divided by area is nothing but stress. So that is in fact tangential stress. You can see these two stresses, normal stress and tangential stress, are directly due to the loads. But this bending stress and torsional stress will be indirectly evolved due to this stresses will develop. You can see this. In bending stress, I am taking this beam as example. You know, the beam will be like, you have studied about beam, beams, you know. Beam is nothing but a horizontal load, horizontal member, which will be subject to transverse loading on it. So the beam always gets transverse loading or vertical loading. The beam will be, this is the longitudinal axis. Due to this transverse loading, the beam will bend. It will deform. This is suppose this is a beam. Due to the vertical loading, the beam will deform. There will be deflections and also the beam can shear. Two types of stresses will occur in beam. To differentiate this, namely x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. I will tell you the original definition of the beam. Beam is nothing but horizontal member subjected to transverse loading, while the vectorial representation of forces, moments will be along perpendicular to the direction of the longitudinal axis. This vectorial representation means this we have taken as beam, longitudinal axis. This is the longitudinal axis. Due to this transverse loading, there will be moment will generate. The beam will bend. That is nothing but bending moment. Because of bending moment, keep your hand like this. And beam is like this. Beam is bending. This thumb represents vectorial representation. That means this thumb is pointing you. I told you this x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis nothing but that vectorial representation. Vector is nothing but like force is Force is nothing but vector quantity. That means it has magnitude and direction. That is nothing but vector quantity. The vectorial representation due to this bending moment now. Beam is bending like this, you can see. The beam is bending now. I am bending the beam like this. So my hand will represent the rotation, the bending of the beam. The thumb represents the vectorial representation. It will be along the z axis. So that is the definition of beam. Due to this beam, there will be subjected to stresses that are nothing but bending stresses. Like topmost fiber will be subjected to compressive stress because of this bending, anti-clockwise bending, and bottommost fiber will be subjected to tensile stresses based on this cross section. Okay, why means the beam bends like this now. The beam is nothing but it will consist of, we will assume that beam consists of different number of horizontal layers. If you take a pack of cords and you bend like this, you can see the topmost fiber will be subjected to compressive stress. You can imagine it. And the topmost fiber will be subject to tensile stress. That means it will be like pulling action. Topmost fiber will be like compressive action. And the neutral layer is subjected to like no stresses, zero stresses. Topmost fiber will be subjected to maximum compressive stress. Bottommost fiber will be subjected to maximum tensile stress. Based upon this, we can generate this. This is nothing but neutral axis. This is nothing but zero stresses. And topmost fiber will be subjected to maximum compressive stress, and bottommost fiber will be subjected to maximum tensile stress. Okay, this is nothing but beam. This is nothing but bending stresses. And one more important equation to find this bending stresses is M by I equal to F by Y equal to C by R. You have studied this equation. From this equation, we will find this bending stress. F is nothing but bending stress. M is nothing but bending moment. I is nothing but moment of inertia. Y is nothing but distance of the topmost fiber from the neutral axis. And E is nothing but Young's modulus of elasticity. And R is nothing but radius of fiber. Because the beam will bend in, like we will assume that arc of a circle, so that radius and arc of curvature and all will come. Now we will tell you about torsion. See, now I told you about normal stress, tangential stress, indirect stresses. I have told you about bending stress. Now last topic is torsion stress. See, this on beams, I told you that vertical loading will be there and bending stress will develop. In torsion, you can see I am taking a shaft. I am taking a shaft fixed at one end and free at another end. This is the longitudinal axis. This is the cross section of the shaft of diameter d. Now in beam, I told you the beam is bending like this. So the vectorial representation is nothing but towards you. The thumb represents vectorial representation. It is perpendicular to x-axis. That means it will be in z direction. In shafts, how will you be rotated? Keyboard hand in the direction of the rotation. See, shaft is there. I am rotating the shaft like this because shaft will be this axis only. I have to rotate like this, so the shaft rotates like this. In beam bending, like this beam bends, but in shafts the rotation will be along the axis of the shaft. So I am rotating like this. So you can see my thumb represents along the like x-axis only, negative x-axis only. You can see in beams the vectorial representation will be perpendicular to the longitudinal axis, but in shafts the vectorial representation will be along the axis only. That's an important topic. You can see it will be subjected to either like these arrows we will represent. This is a shaft and these are nothing but axial stress shafts. Because of this torsion, we will represent this as positive torsion. If the shaft rotates like this, we will change the direction of the arrows. Based on this shaft, like this I am rotating the shaft. So that the distortion, the shape of the cross section will be distorted. Based on this, that means I am rotating like this a shaft. Shaft always be like there will be arrows rotating motion only like this. So the cross section of the shaft will be distorted. So we will generate torsional shear stress here because of the distortion. Originally it will be like this, and after some time due to the rotation, the change in angle will be there across the shaft. Based on this, similarly it will be equal to shear stress by R equal to n theta by 2. This equation you are studying now, torsion equation. That is nothing but bending equation. This equation nothing but torsion equation. T by J equal to shear stress by R equal to n theta by L. Tau nothing but shear stress. Because of the distortion of the cross section, we will get this torsion shear stress. And T is nothing but torque, J is nothing but polar amount of inertia, and R is nothing but radius from the topmost fiber, and N is nothing but rigidity modulus, and theta is nothing but angle, and L is nothing but length of the member. This is nothing but torsion. Now we are studying what is the difference between beam and torsion basically. In beam, the bending will be like this, and the vector will be perpendicular to the forces and moments will be perpendicular. That's why we will use in beams. You know why we will take only mz equal to 0. Why not sigma mx my equal to 0? Because always we will see the beam as 2D frame and it is bending like this now. The vector question I told you, the thumb will be like this only. So in beams we will take sigma mz equal to 0. Sigma fx equal to 0 we will take. We are solving unknowns. Sigma fy equal to 0 we will take. And sigma y, sigma mz means I told you that topic. This is when sigma mz theta are the equilibrium equations. On this topic, I am going to teach you about what is determinate structure and indeterminate structure. Have you an idea about this? Determinate and indeterminate structure. Simply supported beams types, you know. Simply supported beam, cantilever beam. Suppose I am taking a simply supported beam. Simply supported means at one end what will be there and at the other end what will be there? Supported. What kind of support at one end or what kind of support at another end will be called as simply supported. At one end which support will be there, at another end which support will be there. Both sides supports will be there. What kind of we will name that support as something? Or simply supported one end is what support and another end is what support. Simply supported beam. Cantilever beam. Cantilever beam means fixed at one end, here at another end. Simply supported beam means what will be? Like at one end, what will be support? At another end, what will be support? Not simply supported means what one end it will be hinged support. At another end, it will be roller support. This we will call as simply supported. At one end it will be hinged support. At another end it will be roller support. Where we will use this simply supported beam? Can anybody tell me? These simply supported beams are used in bridges. In bridges we can see one end will be hinged support and another end will be roller support. Why we use simply supported beam in bridges structure? I will tell you. Here hinge, you know about hinged roller support. Huh? You are studying hinged roller support. How many forces will be there in hinged support? How many forces will be there in roller support? And hinged support, how many forces will be there? Unknown forces. And hinged support, there will be Fy, there will be Fx, two unknowns. Two unknowns will be there in hinged support. That means the hinged support is nothing but supporting the structure above now. The hinged support will not move in the horizontal direction, will not move in the vertical direction, but it can generate an angle theta. That means when moment is applied on the hinged support, it can rotate, but it cannot deform in the x direction, it cannot deform in the vertical direction. So these are nothing but resistive forces. Suppose you are sitting on the chair now. The chair is not broken. That means the chair is also getting the opposite and direction forces. If and all your weight is less than the opposite reactions, you will be surviving. If the force of you is more than the opposite reactions, then the chair will break. Like this only supports. Like vertical support will be there, horizontal support. Two unknowns will be there at hinged support. Only one unknown will be there at roller support. That means the roller can move horizontally and the roller can rotate by an angle theta, but it cannot move in the vertical direction. So only in vertical direction you cannot move the roller. In a horizontal direction it can move, and the moment when you apply moment it can rotate. So there will be 1, 2, 3 unknowns. 3 unknowns. How many equilibrium equations we have studied? 3 equilibrium. What are they? Sigma fx equal to 0. Sigma z. So three equilibrium equations are there, and how many unknowns in the simply separated beam? 3 unknowns. So number of unknowns is equal to number of equilibrium equations. That is nothing but determinate structure. So by these 3 equations, we can determine these 3 unknowns, like mathematical equations. If there are 3 unknowns in any equation, you need 3 equations to solve. So 3 unknowns, 3 unknowns, 3 equilibrium equations. 3 minus 3 0. That means statically determinant. We will represent like ds. We will study in the future class. Statically determinant. Number of unknowns minus number of equilibrium equations. Again, 3 minus 3 equal to 0. If ds equal to 0, that means indeterminacy equal to 0. That means it is a determinate vector. Similarly, this cantilever beam also. This cantilever beam. One end is fixed, another end is free. Here, fixed support. We can get horizontal force, vertical force, and moment. 3 unknowns will be there. 3 unknowns. On free end, there will be no restrictions now. So the fixed support will not be moved in the x direction, will not be moved in the y direction, will not be subjected to any moment or rotation. That means here rotation also will be 0 at fixed end. So 3 unknowns. Again, we have 3 equilibrium equations. ds equal to number of unknowns minus number of equilibrium equations. 3 minus 3 0. So these both are determinate structure. That means with 3 unknowns, you can find all the forces in the structure. That is nothing but determinate structure. Now, what is meant by indeterminate structure? Can anyone tell what is the example of indeterminate structure? Like beam, like simply supported beam and cantilever beam are example of determinate structures. That means a proper cantilever. This is nothing but proper cantilever. One end is fixed support and another end is support, like vertical support only will be there. Like roller, we can say. Or one end roller, but another end fixed. It is nothing but roller is nothing but